Oh no, my bad. I er, I was gonna make a joke about stream sniping you, Jacob.
Stream sniping each other.
Okay. Hello, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you that are here, I am delighted every time that anyone wants to watch me. But it's not just me tonight who's streaming. Joining us, two very special friends of mine, Jacob and Daniel. They will be appearing as ghostly voices in the background, as my streaming setup is just not quite up to snuff for full audio visual for everyone. But I'm going to call you guys out one at a time. If you wouldn't mind just saying hey to all the folks out there. Jacob?
Hello, everybody. I am the disembodied voice of Jacob. I'm here to take Agrost back for the people, and I'm so excited.
Wonderful. And Daniel?
Hey, I'm the disembodied voice of Daniel. You may know me from Pixel's last stream before I got a new job, the Fightin'est Smitin'est Paladin. But anyways, I'm here to keep the postmen from getting their grubby hands on what's rightfully mine.
Oh yes, I was
right.
also a paladin in David's in Pixel's last campaign. I was the backup paladin.
Yes, that's right, folks. We were all co-stars in Ages of Ainor presents the region of Bedegar, and several of us included in the previous adventure, the Siege of Castle Rend. So if you know those characters and you're excited to see us play something a little different, what I have done is based on my D&D setting, the Beast Wilds, which you can learn more about by coming to the Bonus Moms Tavern Discord. This is essentially a warfare scenario that I have devised based on the ending of my last campaign. And that's right, Bonus Mom. There was a bonus elder who was very important to the narrative, and if we look closely enough, we might just see her again tonight. But we are going to shift now over to the warfare screen, where we can show the beginnings of the Siege of Agrost. I want to set a couple of rules up at the top of this, just to remind everyone at home. Rule number one at my table: we're here to have fun. If you're not having fun, ask for a pause so we can get back on track. And rule number two: don't be the reason that someone else doesn't have fun. All of our players are only human. I also myself used to be human. So acknowledge mistakes, apologize sincerely, and forgive genuine accidents so that we can get back to having fun. And like I said, tonight we're telling the story of the Siege of Agrost, an ancient and eternal city, which was the setting of my last D&D campaign, The Unbreakable Loop. We will have opposing players taking the sides of two armies. One, the defenders defending this ancient city, played by Daniel. And two, the attackers laying siege to the city, played by Jacob. So, as we can see from the outset, our defenders are few in number, but if we spy their unit cards just a tiny bit, we can probably tell that they are quite better trained and perhaps somewhat more deadly than the masses assembled outside the city walls. So we're going to have sort of a fast-acting, longer-lasting competition. And let me tell y'all folks at home a little, to set the scene a little bit, what happened leading up to this event, this terrifying struggle between forces. The old king is dead. The aristocratic regime's last remaining loyalists, that's the defenders, are occupying the king's castle, and they continue to hold the city against a growing mob of dissidents and refugees outside the city walls, the attackers. The loyalist defenders have sent an urgent request for reinforcements to the capital of Fulleropolis. The attackers laying siege should assume that the reinforcements are on the way. Jacob, your units must breach the walls and take the city quickly, or you will risk being crushed between the walls of the city and the elite capital soldiers rushing to reinforce its defenders. The attackers have the support of the masses and numbers on their side, but, Daniel, your defenders are better trained and equipped, with deadly reinforcements on the way, if you can just hold out. So, let's explain a couple of rules at the top here for our audience and the benefit of our players, and for my benefit, because there's a lot to remember. We are dealing with fortifications. As you will notice, on the side of the defenders, which is the northern side of the map, we have walls, and these two enclosed spaces are towers. When a unit is occupying one of those tower fortifications, they will receive a passive buff +2 to their morale stat, defense stat, and power stat. So when you are making tests, they're just a little bit hardier in those regards. Additionally, we see this sort of crumbled, half-ruined section of the wall on the far right. That represents a neighborhood bordering the outside of Agrost that our players are familiar with, known as the Shadow Stacks. This was a middle-class neighborhood, multi-level apartment-style stone buildings, intentionally collapsed in on itself in order to sort of create a temporary wall at the last minute. Some siege long ago, perhaps, or some conflict between men and elves. Who's to say? It's been too long since anyone could remember. But what differs from the standard warfare rules is that each of these fortifications will have separate health, in that the towers themselves and the walls between them, which are stout and well made, will all have 8 hit points, whereas the Shadow Stacks, being hastily made and never really reinforced, only has 4 fortification hit points, meaning if any part of the fortification loses all of its hit points and is reduced to 0, the entire fortification will crumble, and all fortification bonuses will be removed from the defenders. Make sense? So, next, homebrew crit rules. Pixel and I sat down and realized that after playing Warfare a few times, it didn't feel lousy, but it just felt like there was some missing oomph when you roll a nat 20 and nothing happens in the core rules that MCDM provided. And we just thought we could come up with something fun. So here's what we came up with. If you roll a nat 20 on an attack test, you may roll an additional d20, essentially providing you advantage on your follow-up power test. If you roll a nat 20 on a power test, all the damage that is dealt from that power test will be doubled. Okay. I think that. Oh, and the last thing that I want to set the stage for is tokens. We have several units with abilities that apply tokens, which are essentially like damaging debuffs that do damage over time. The way that those work, if you're reading your unit cards, after you've applied a token, which is after a successful power test, when that unit reactivates or activates after having that token put on them, they will take a number of casualties equal to the number of tokens of all types on them. So if, for instance, if they have one token and they activate, it's their turn, they will take one casualty and then promptly remove one token of each type of token that is on them. So if they have poison and fire and they have one of each, they'll take 2 casualties, they will remove one of each token and now have none, so upon their next activation they're tokenless unless they get hit again. Make sense?
Yes.
Great.
Very much so.
So, without further ado, we are going to have our folks, Jacob and Daniel. I would like you each to roll a flat d20. The way that we're going to handle unit deployment is that you can put your units wherever you like. If there are empty ranks or files, rows, we won't collapse those per the typical warfare rules, just to save time. But what will be happening is we will be doing side turns rather than unit turns to keep things flowing a little bit, what I think might flow a little bit better. So whoever wins the roll-off will get to move and activate each of their units in turn until they have exhausted all of their activations. And then the other side will be able to do the same back and forth until everyone is gone, the turn is ended, and just like in a typical warfare, we will count up the tiers of each army. Any army which has twice the number of tier points as the other is declared the victor of this warfare. So, give me them D20s, boys. Whew, Daniel coming in hot with a 19.
Yeah, boy.
Have at thee.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's a 12 for Jacob. So, Daniel, our defenders will be going first. And did I do this right?
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Daniel. Feel free to move your
I
position
believe
of
I'm
soldiers.
going to move the flower buds down onto the fortification.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a ranged unit, right? Archers?
Yes, they are both artillery.
I would like to make an attack on the Agrost postman.
Oh, we're just deploying here, bud. Somebody's real eager.
Sorry, I was thirsty for blood. I apologize.
Okay, yeah, we're setting the stage. This is round 0. Round 1 will start after both armies have successfully completed moving their units into a position that they believe is best. And yeah. So
my bad. I apologize. But
all
I'm
right,
done.
you got them where you want them. The Gilded Furies have taken up the walls at Fort Bethla, the king's old fort. And the flower buds now stride atop the walls of the Haven, the fortified school where gilded lilies are trained. Jacob, you may deploy your army wherever you see fit.
Yes. First, I just want to say there's a skit where it's like the British Army versus like the American Revolutionaries, and it's this officer is like, We will take the first vote. And like while he's like discussing the rules of this battle, the Americans are just firing on them the entire. That's what I was. That's what I was imagining there. Yeah, for sure. So ranks aren't being collapsed, so I can like.
Correct. You may have completely unoccupied ranks or columns, and they will persist. Just in case you need to run away.
Cool. And real quick, I'm assuming it's not listed here in the action, but for the dig ability, I'm assuming that's adjacent fortifications that it's talking about.
For instance, I'll show you with one of your levies. If one of your levies was here in this space directly adjacent, opposed to any of the fortifications, they may use their dig ability.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Then I'm going to do a blamp and a blamp. And then I'm going to have one, two, and I'll do another one here, and then put the postman right. Actually, hold on. I'm going to put them. Yeah, I want them there. I want the postman up front. This will be my fortification, or my formation. Sorry.
Fantastic. Look at that. So orderly. Those nether folk, they received split-second training by the Agrost postman, and they are putting it to work. Now
Rank and file.
Let's
wait. Actually, switch these two around. Now we're good. Postman dead in the
symmetry.
middle.
Love it.
Yeah. Actually, never mind, because the postmen need to be able to fight. Scratch it. The Furies are the spooky one. They need to be able to get whacked. All right, now I'm actually ready.
Now but before we get into this first round of combat, let's talk a little bit about who has assembled here for our audience. The nether folk are human refugees who have come to the city of Agrost, streaming endlessly over several decades from the Lost Lands to the south of Agrost. They hurry back and forth, passing along makeshift weapons to one another: shovels, bricks, flint knives, wooden clubs. Their desperation had made them ideal laborers, dredging the frigid, muddy shores of the Loch Agrost, the deep, impenetrable lake that gives this city its name. Their constant toiling under the former Lord High Lord King Kaiser was ended when 5 unlikely heroes killed the Lord High Lord of Agrost and ended the nether folk's oppression. Now they have rallied, seeking to expel the last of King Kaiser's loyalists from Agrost, reclaiming its streets from the oppressive regime of the cult of Saint Philora. And leading them, the Netherfolk resistance fighters, is the former garrison of the Agrost post. A mix of mostly humans, some half-elves, handful of halflings, and an incredibly irate mule known as Madame Marmalade. The postmen are the fraternal order of watchmen who once built the post roads that connect the grand cities of Norvay. The postmen survived the fall of the Empire, but have declined in prestige and purpose. Emboldened by their poster child, Samuel Invictus Asbarellian IX, they now lead the fight to take back the city of Agrost for all of its people. Their signature soft gray tabards are emblazoned with their founder's crest, the fanned sheaf of wheat inside of a golden circle. The ends of their pikes and spears are wrapped in burning pitch-soaked cloth, serving as tall torches under the shadowed skies. Yes, folks, the lands of the Beast Wilds have been shrouded in eternal magical darkness. The light of stars, nor the light of the moon or the sun, has pierced the skies in several months. The ensuing chaos has led to a lot of civil change. So now, the segments of, the postmen sergeants are dispersed across the field, shouting final orders before the battle is brought to the defenders. Set for charge! March! Withdrawal! Rally to me! And across the fortified city, along the stout walls of Agrost, its mighty Fort Bethla wears a crown of burning oil lamps, whose dancing firelight is reflected in the shining eyes and the golden tattoos of the gilded lilies. The late Lord High Lord King Kaiser's personal squad of zealous assassin courtesans are wrapped in reflective silken battle garb, made from the precious glitter flakes dredged from the lakeshore by the very netherfolk who now lay siege to the city seeking their independence. A leader among the Gilded Furies steps forward to shout over the battlefield to the assembling attackers. Our mistress Marisi, the Dawnbringer, has awoken from her slumber. The Dawnbringer can cut away the darkness that enshrouds the wilds and bring back the sun. She bids us rejoice and welcome your sacrifices. Join us now in the dance of blades so that she may be renewed. The Gilded Furies raise aloft hooked swords and hand crossbows, arrow tips glistening with venom. They don't simply show no fear. They seem excited to be outnumbered. And across the fortified city, you see a second cohort of much younger girls shuffling atop the fortified walls of the haven, the Flower Buds. They occupy the fortified school where King Kaiser has trained the Gilded Lilies. It's clear, even from this distance, that none of these young students bear the golden tattoos of their scarier fellows defending Fort Bethla. Several of the tattooed Gilded Furies have them pinned in like sheep. They may be reluctant defenders of the city, but they know any cowardice or hesitance on their part will be swiftly and immediately punished. They ready their short bows and daggers for whatever comes. Now, Daniel, it is your turn. Please, commence battle.
Okay, now I'm gonna lay into the postman.
All right.
And that's
Give me 2 d20s for each roll so that we can save a little bit of time. Great.
okay.
So,
Oh, that was both attacks. I'm so sorry.
That's
I was
fine.
aiming at the postman with both of them.
all right. So, you've got a 16 plus 9. That's a 25 on your first attack test against the Agrost postman. Is that right?
Yes.
All right.
Porcupine!
Oh, tell us about the porcupine, Jacob.
From amidst the postmen, a battle, or they look out into the distance and see an enshrouded flame, which ignites with a sudden blue light as some powder is thrown into it to signal a maneuver, and spears raise up from the formation of postmen to ward off artillery fire. Disadvantage on your power tests against the postman for this unit.
Okay.
Then that would be a 13.
All right. Well, so 16 is your attack test, 13 is your power test. Roll one more d20 as your disadvantage, and we will take the lower for your test. So 13.
Son of a bitch. Still
Okay. So the Agrost postmen are showered in crossbow bolts from the walls. They take 1 casualty from the successful attack test, and the power test is a 13 plus 3, 16. What's your toughness on those Agrost postmen, Jacob?
That's a sweet and hot 12.
Oof. So that is I believe, 1 more damage from that power test. Tell us what happens after that, Daniel.
It gets 2 poison tokens, correct?
That is correct. To
And
be
every time it activates for the next turn, it'll take 1 damage.
So
or 1 casualty.
we will be representing any tokens using the red bubble heads up so that we can keep track of that. The venomous crossbow bolts fired across the battlefield unfortunately find their way between the raised spears of the postmen and strike true, causing untold malady. All right, I believe you made a second attack test. That's
Or the others. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Who is that targeting?
The postman again.
Oof. Okay, so we have a 7 plus 9. That is 16. That unfortunately beats your defense. The Agrost postman will take another casualty, dropping them down to 3. Jacob, I need you to make a DC 13 morale test with advantage.
Oh,
There it
14!
is.
Nice.
Despite the immediate onslaught, the Agrost postmen hold true. They do not suffer an additional casualty from being diminished. Let's see, your power test was 14. It will also be with disadvantage. Give me 1 more d20, Daniel. 11. So 11 plus 3. Exactly. Oh, no, yes, it beats a 12 with a 14. Unfortunately, the Agrost post are chipped down.
They're so skilled.
And they have additional 2 poison tokens applied to them.
Amidst this like field of arrows, if there was a sun, it would have been blotted out. One of the postmen begins to waver, and another grips his shoulder and says, "We bleed so the Netherfolk don't have to, brother. Keep fighting. Push forward." And that's my little role play.
All right, Daniel. You have the flower buds left to activate if you so choose.
I'm going to do that.
All right.
And I'm going to... So the Gilded Furies are able to make 2 attacks? I'm sorry.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I have made some custom unit cards for this, which are different than maybe what you used to. Let me explain that. Using the Gilded Furies as an example, the very first... all of your stats are going to be on this bottom part here, and they're abbreviated, so apologize. But the number is the number of activations that you may attack with, or essentially the number of attacks that you can make per activation, which is 2. You've made 2 with the Gilded Furies. The first set of boxes, the plus 9 and 13, that is going to be either your attack or defense, which is essentially whenever you are making your first test, that is the number that you're going to be looking for if you're being attacked or you're attacking. The next set, the plus 3 and the 9, is your power and toughness. That will be the second test number that you need, whether you are being resisting a power test or making a power test. Damage is the amount of damage that you do on a successful power test. And then the last 2 numbers are your morale and your command. Morale will be used for rallying and determining whether you take additional casualties from being diminished, which is half health. And your command score will determine how well your units can execute certain maneuvers.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to use the flower buds to Jacob, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to attempt to wipe out the postman.
Brutal. Give me 2
All is
d20s.
fair in war. Oh my god.
All right. Is that a 14 and a 14?
Yes.
We got 14 plus 3 is 17. I am so sorry, but you
I have good news for you, Daniel.
Okay.
You've wiped out the only competent fighters I have.
I mean, they kind of seemed like the leadership. That's why I went for them. I'm
It
sorry.
makes sense. No,
Right.
it's a valid tactic. I would have done the same thing.
He's cutting off the head. And your power test is a 14 plus a 3, 17 beats your 12. I'm so sorry, but the Agrost postmen have broken. Whatever venom courses through their veins does so as they flee the battlefield in disarray.
Flee!
Or actually, I think we're gonna make this. Oh my goodness. We're gonna make this a yellow, and then red is if yellow is broken with the potential to rally, and red will be broken, unrallyable. The Agrost postmen have suffered immediate losses. A brutal display of efficiency.
I think you hear from over the battlement somewhere. The postmen are broken. Push forward, crush them under our heels.
Yes. The
And that's my turn.
Netherfolk have begun to stir. Jacob, let's activate some units. Show me what you got.
Yes. As the postmen crumble and are forced to take evasive and defensive maneuvers, exposing the Netherfolk to greater harm, amongst them, the voices call out, "Now's the time. That's the signal. Move!" And these Netherfolk will all move up 2 spaces, getting right up in there.
Nice.
And then these guys will do a continued move up.
Wonderful. The Netherfolk levies, even without existing leadership, are determined and well organized amongst themselves. They push forward to take down the walls of Agrost. Now, we will be counting. This is the end of the first round of combat. We'll be counting up tiers of your armies. If you would each please put the number, cumulative total of tiers of your armies in the chat, so that we can see that. All right, so Jacob has 5 and Daniel has 6. Neither has more than twice than the other, and so the fight continues. As the din of combat grows louder, Daniel, what do you do?
You probably hear, "They've approached the walls. Take them out." And the Gilded Furies are going to hail the Netherfolk levies in front of the flower buds. And I'm going to focus both activations on them.
Okay, here we go. So we have 12 plus 9. That is a 21. That's gonna hit. Down to 5.
Wait, the first. Okay, wait, yeah. So the first one is a 2,
Oh,
right?
oops.
Yes.
Sorry. Got
But
me
if it's
there.
plus 9, it's still an 11. It still beats
brutal.
because I have
Rolled a 2, still hits. Ooh, I'm sorry, Jacob.
These guys, they got a plus 9 to
So,
attack.
That's a. They are. So let's.
They are well trained.
Well, let me point out the other little advancement I've done in designing these cards. So, in the middle of the top right, you see each of these medallions representing the types of units that you are fielding. The pitchforks are levies, the swords are infantry, and the bows are foot artillery. And around these medallions are 4 signifiers which describe your units. The very top is your tiers, your tier number in Roman numerals. On the left, or at 9 o'clock, is the weight of your unit: light, medium. I think that's all we have so far. So light and medium units. On the bottom is your veterancy. The Gilded Furies are super elite. They have the highest amount of training and battle experience that you could possibly have in warfare. R is regular, L is levies, and V is veteran, meaning that they've survived 1 or 2 fights, and they're experienced soldiers. On the far right at the 3 o'clock is the number of max casualties. This is your maximum hit points, more or less, for your unit, which we can also see represented above each of the cards as they take damage. Cool?
Cool.
Yes. So, we were in the middle of an attack test. The Gilded Furies had hit with a 2 on these poor nether folk trying to take back their city. And with a 9 plus 3, that is a 12, exactly hits on the power test, dealing an additional damage and applying 2 poison tokens to these poor beleaguered netherfolk.
Question real quick. For the purpose of defense, is it like regular, like they meet the AC, or do they have to exceed?
It is meet or beat, same as in D&D combat.
Okay, cool. So it's literally impossible for them to miss the levies.
They are extremely well trained, and there are no Nat 1 rules.
Yes, I just wanted to make sure. Cool, that's fine.
The math does not lie, unfortunately. We have a second attack test. That's a 12 plus a 9. That's a 21, dealing an additional casualty. That will diminish. Please give me a DC 13 morale test. This is not with advantage, Jacob.
Right. Yes.
15.
15.
They held it together. Look
Nice.
At them.
We're in it. We're too far. We can't move back. We go back, we'll starve to death. I'd rather just get shot.
And a 3 plus a 3 is 6. The power test, the second power test, fails to deal any additional damage to the netherfolk.
Sadness.
Sadness for some, joy for others, Daniel. Now, that completes the Gilded Furies activation. The Flower Buds. What you got?
I'm gonna have to blast the netherfolk levies in front of the flower buds with the flower buds. I mean, that's all that I can do, honestly. It's all I want to do, anyways.
I hear you. All right. We have a 3. Plus 3 is 6. The attack test has failed. The flower buds, unsure of themselves and perhaps a little more nervous than they want to let on, have missed enough shots as to not deal enough damage to reduce the casualties of the netherfolk.
Doomed.
Any movement from the flower buds?
No, I'm done.
All right. That brings us to our attackers. Jacob, what you got?
As the netherfolk close in, you see, even as they're taking this like horrendous fire, and just being demolished by the gilded lilies and the flower buds, as they get closer and closer to the wall, they start to pick up with zeal. And as they approach and make contact, all of the forwardmost groups let out a yell. Now! Dig! And all 3 of these netherfolk groups begin digging below the foundations of this fortification, using years and years of training as they have sifted and dug for glitter in the lock. Their hands are almost predisposed to shoveling away. And this first 3 ranks, from what I understand, fully disappear from the battlefield.
Yes.
Right?
As they begin to dig under the fortifications to sap them, we will simply stack them over here on this side.
Does that mean that they would like subtract from like total points at the end of a round? Because if that does, then I'd like to keep some on.
No, they are not broken. They are not non-existent. They still exist as members of your army, and they count towards your tier total. They are just out of sight.
Beautiful. And I'm assuming that my other units can't move in and dig the same spot that that others have dug.
They can. If following the dig action, we can resolve the move or the placement of any surviving units following their dig action. So feel free to consider all of these spaces as currently unoccupied.
Hell yeah. Then these 2 also move up and dig.
I'm in danger.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Hundreds of netherfolk just burrowing underneath the walls of this castle.
And I believe you also now have the ability to attempt to rally the Agrost postman.
That's right. So that is what's the DC I have to meet here?
It is a DC 13 morale test. The Agrost postmen are adaptable, which means they will make it with advantage. They have a +3 to their morale. 50-50.
10 or higher.
A little better than 50-50.
Here we go.
Ha!
Ooh!
Zababa! Nice.
That is a 19 + 3. We'll do it. 22 beats a 13. The Agrost post have fully rallied with a single casualty. You may place them on your side of the deployment, Jacob.
Hell yeah. There's a messenger runs to whoever is left in command of the post at this point. Goes, "Sir, the netherfolk have begun to dig. Now's our time." And they return to the battlefield. Wounded, but still ready to fight.
We love to see
actually,
it, folks.
let's pop them over here.
They know who they're gunning for. All right. This, I believe, all the activations have happened. This concludes the second round of our warfare. And so we will resolve the dig actions on your next turn, on all of their next activations. All right, Daniel, you have a single target. What do the Gilded Lilies do in defense of the city of Agrost? Oh, sorry. Let's. I don't think we've changed any of the tiers. With the Agrost postman having been rallied, I believe Jacob is now up to 7, and Daniel remains at 6. So we do not yet have a winner. Top of the third round, Daniel. Give it to me.
I'm going to move both units back 1, if possible. Okay.
They
Then
will lose their fortification bonus for being in a tower. They will continue to receive the morale benefit from having fortifications.
And I'm going to have the Furies I'm going to attempt my first attack, see how that goes, and then I'll decide if I need to attack again or not. But anyways,
okay.
All right.
Oh, that's an 18 plus 9 is a stupid number, which is absolutely higher than whatever the postman can muster. Unfortunately, the postmen suffer a single casualty.
Now is our time! Shout! And a crossbow bolt just through the throat.
The Agrost
Oh,
postmen
man.
have been broken a second time and are now unable to rally. They are now removed from combat.
A good move. A good move.
All right. I think the flower buds were able to do something else. Does it matter if I check the reference sheet real quick?
No, please go ahead. The flower
Okay.
buds, to my knowledge, do not have any additional actions or maneuvers they could perform. If you see something I don't, please tell me.
Oh, that might be the lilies then.
Yes, the lilies do have a number of powerful abilities. Having made your attack, they do have the fade ability, which, if you so choose, you may move them up to one space after having made a successful attack. Is that it for you, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave them where they're at.
Okay. And now comes the fun part. So, I believe here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna stick these nether folk here along the walls, assuming that they are more or less under these walls. And we're gonna go sort of left to right and see how your dig rolls go, Jacob. So,
Hell yeah.
for the leftmost nether folk who have dug under Fort Bethla, give me 2d6 dig damage.
2d6 dig coming right up. That's a 2.
Ooh, 2 damage. The fortifications of Fort Bethla were made by ancient, masterful hands. They have survived eons, unscorched and unfazed, as a city grew up around them, and a few loose bricks will not do it. These nether folk have shifted as much earth as they can, and they emerge waiting for the results of their fellows. Give me another 2d6 for these guys.
Yeah. That's
Ooh,
8.
That's 8.
That's just enough, right?
These nether
It's a
folk,
wall.
they have dug and dug and dug under these fortifications. They have found a cornerstone in no time at all, and working in unison, heave, ho, hurrah! They shift it just enough. We hear rippling stones as the fortifications begin to collapse, opening up gaps in the walls.
They're in the walls. Take them down.
All right. Once one section of the wall has been compromised, the rest of the nether folk appear as they can feel the rumblings of the compromised fortifications. Now, the ancient walls of Agrost shudder as rippling masonry succumbs to the sabotage of the sappers. Desperately, we spy into the swirling dust and the rolling debris for any signs of the nether folk. At first, there's nothing. And then, suddenly, all at once, hands, stained pale red by the precious mud of the Loch Agrost, emerge, shifting rubble away from holes and bivouacs, crumbling entryways where the nether folk had formed their shelters. The nether folk are immediately organized by one such bonus elder. Okay, now, you pick up them stones You stand in line and hand them down to the tallest one of you, okay? As the Netherfolk pick up stones the size of fists and bricks as big as your head, they pass their newfound ammunition towards the tallest and strongest of their kin, who begin to hurl the city back at their oppressors. As the fortifications have now crumbled, Daniel, I am going to need you to make a DC 13 morale test for each of your units, as they are suddenly terrified of losing their only protection.
Oof.
Oof. I'm going to count that as for the Gilded Furies, who
All right.
suffer a single casualty. And a 17 plus 1 will do it for the Flower Buds, who, despite seeing the walls of their school begin to fall and collapse in on themselves, escape unharmed and unfazed. As the Netherfolk emerge, we see a new unit has climbed up from out of the rubble of the city. Netherfolk reinforcements emerge, led by the bonus elder, the Red Fingers. This is a unit of Netherfolk artillery that is now under your command, Jacob. They are a tier 2 light regular unit, and they have a very special ability that the other Netherfolk don't have. Would you like to tell me what that is?
Yes. Strength in numbers. This unit begins the battle with 1 additional casualty
For each other Netherfolk unit in its army. Meaning, the Red Fingers begin with 5 additional casualties.
The Red Fingers are now bolstered by their allies, the Netherfolk levies, which have dug them out of their hiding. They know that there's no more hiding left to do, and as their ranks are bolstered, more and more Netherfolk begin to feed them the ammunition that they need to take back the city of Agrost. Jacob, you may activate the Red Fingers.
Beautiful.
Oh no.
Let's see. 7. I know that it would be more tactically advantageous to target the Flower Buds. The odds
more
of beating the
likely?
Flower Buds are... Yeah, I'm more likely to hit the Flower Buds. It would be... The Gilded Furies are worth more to hit.
They are
And
a
take
tier
off the
4
field.
unit, and because any army would win upon having more than twice the count, you currently stand at 7, as you did with the Agrost Postman, and Daniel still stands at 6. The Gilded Furies, if they were to be removed, would constitute more than half of the defenders, and the defenders would therefore lose.
Yes. And the Flower Buds are easier to fight, though. But the important thing is this. The bonus elder is in charge of the Red Fingers, and I don't think the bonus elder would be okay with stoning children to death. So, because the Flower Buds are kids, right? Like, they are...
They are students. They are not. They are young, adolescent humanoids of many ancestries who have not yet hit their full maturity.
They are teenagers. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Bonus Elder, I think, is gonna direct to throw some rocks at these gold-plated assholes on the far side, though.
No, go away.
Demolish the Furies!
Just gotta hit a
But
13.
do that in a nice old woman voice. Hell yeah.
Well, let's kick out all them big bad Gilded Furies now.
Let's stop some ass.
Hey, I'm opening up a can of whoop ass on y'all.
Well, that's a 30.
That's an 11 plus
3 for the attack, so that's 14.
What did he have to beat, Daniel?
I think it's a 13.
That's right. The Gilded Furies get smacked by flying rubble being hurled at them by the Red Fingers, taking 1 casualty, reducing them down to 4. And with a power attack of 19, what do you add to that, Jacob?
An extra 3, so that's a 22.
And does a 22 beat a 9?
It sure does.
Now hold on, I'm in calculus right now. So hold on, let me. I gotta run these numbers.
Have been diminished. Then they need to make a DC 13 morale test or suffer an additional casualty. 16, that makes it. It's going to take a lot more than a few loose rocks to scare these hardened assassins. Now, we have ended the 3rd round of our warfare. A lot has happened. The walls have fallen. The Nether folk have risen up in defense of their fellows. What's going to happen next? Oh my goodness. I think it's time to take a break.
Oh no.
We are going to take a short 3 to 5 minute break, at which point we will return and we will kick off the 4th round of warfare in the Siege of Agrost. We'll see you soon, folks.
Wait.
I don't fear you, I fear the bonus elder.
Fear the bonus elder.
Good so far.
I'm feeling good. There was the initial thing of like, there's no way, but then I looked down, I was like, wait, well, I have the numbers pretty intensely. I'm feeling good. Oh, our audio.
Everybody, plug your ears. Earplugs.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. I am new to streaming, and sometimes this stuff confuses me. So if y'all heard us after we took a little break for a little bit, no, you didn't. But big shout out to Bonus Mom and to Pixel both for being enormous cheerleaders of mine in getting this up and running, and for letting me do this on the Ages of Ainor Twitch. I'm really appreciative. So, we left off just a few minutes ago. We have completed 3 rounds of warfare. It's been tense. Right off the bat, the Agrost postman got absolutely hammered by the Gilded Lilies. Both the Gilded Furies and the Flower Buds just laying into them with everything they had. And then a bunch of rabble running at walls. Who thought that they could ever do what they did? Take down the walls with their bare hands. It's almost like they've been training for this their whole lives. And then rising out of the rubble, the Red Fingers, there to lead them when the Agrost postman could not, emboldened by sacrifice and their fellows. What a crazy tale we are telling. There's one thing that I forgot to do, and to keep myself honest, we have 2 poison tokens on this Netherfolk. We are marking tokens now to make sure we don't miss it. So they will take 2 casualties from the poison after their dig, bringing them down to 1, and 1 of those tokens will be removed. They are still barely hanging on with 1 casualty left, but only time will tell. And before we begin the next round of combat, none of the tiers have changed. We do not have a clear victor. However, something on the horizon creeps ever forward.
Gondor calls for aid.
It is our reinforcements from the capital. They have finally arrived to relieve the beleaguered loyalists who have called for their aid. Will they be enough? A nervous shout rings out across the ranks of the attackers. Battle is suspended briefly as all eyes turn to the northern hills. A gigantic serpent made of glittering golden and burning scales is slithering at full speed towards the battlefield. As it crests the closest hill, you realize it's no dragon. It is no higher being sent as punishment by some forgotten goddess, but a column of gilded knights on horseback, their lances tall as trees. Strung atop each lance swings a golden cage emitting pure, magical light through the skies of shadow. The reinforcements from the capital have arrived to crush the siege and restore order to the city. Their serpentine column of cavaliers folds in on itself, and in waves, a terrifying unit of heavy cavalry forms up, ready to charge. A prim and proper man, similarly bedazzled horse, trots forward ahead of the formation and announces himself with a magically amplified voice. I am Supinus Crotchkis, the Grand Auditor of the Censure Antiquarian, keepers of the misused magics which had plagued our forebears. I say this once: lay down your weapons, find your fellows who continue to defy order and authority, and carry them into the lock to rid yourselves of their rebelliousness. Impropriety is a sickness You shall have only this one chance before we administer a less desirable cure. And following behind these gilded knights, a second unit of cavalry. For every year of service, postmen earn golden medallions stamped with the insignia of their posts that they're stationed out of. Few proud veterans remain in service to the postman, few or less after today. But trotting on the backs of dependable, sure-footed, shaggy ponies are several dozen such veterans cresting the horizon. Outfitted in patchwork armor, tools, satchels, purchased, scavenged, and earned by these hardy professionals over decades of service, and hung around each bridle of their pony mounts, tens of stamped gold medallions, gilt seals in recognition of those years of service. Clinking and chiming as they trot towards the battlefield, following up the gilded knights, they have spears and lanterns held aloft. The adjudicator issues an order to these reinforcements will now join the defenders. Daniel, you now have the adjudicator, center antiquarian, heavy cavalry, and the golden ponies, postman cavalry. Now the that foppish, bedazzled man, the Grand Auditor, as he announced himself, turns to the captain of the golden ponies. You there! Show these rabble a thing or two. I order you to charge on these peasantry.
Yes, sir. And you kind of see him put his fist on his chest where his heart is.
And that captain looks around to his fellows, veteran postmen, and spying down, he sees the soft gray tabards of the postmen who didn't make it, who were leading the Netherfolk levies. I recognize that crest anywhere. Our brothers, postmen. If they died on this field, in front of these city walls, then I know who they were protecting. Me and my fellows, we swore the postman's oath. We protect the roads. We protect the people. To hell with you, cursed by the saints. Rah! And before he can finish, he's blasted by a magical beam of energy from Supinus Crotchkiss. Now, no need for that. I shall unfortunately be fining you for coming into contact with magics without approval. Your families will bear the fines. Now the rest of you, do as you are told. But they don't. They charge the battlefield. And they sweep along the lines. And in turn, they shout to the Netherfolk, "We are with you! We are here! We protect the people!" The Golden Ponies have now rallied under your command, Jacob. And I'm sorry.
This, you gilded prick.
Daniel, you have lost the Golden Ponies.
No.
The Golden Ponies, as so ordered, have charged onto the battlefield and have now switched sides. We are at the top of the fourth round. If we add up all of the tiers, 4, 6, that is, Roman numerals are tough. What is that? 6, 12 for Daniel. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for Jacob. Now, Daniel, it is your turn. Begin your activations.
Okay, so for my first activation, the Judicator is going to attempt to run through the red fingers.
All right, give me an attack roll. All right, so we have 13 plus 4. That's going to do it. They smash into an absolute pile, a mass of netherfolk. And some of them do go down. But Daniel, something else happens on top of that.
Yes, it does. Let me look for it. On a successful attack test, targets make DC 13 morale test or take 1 casualty. Old gold weapons.
The terrifying magical keepers of forbidden magic, the Censor Antiquarian, have outfitted themselves in mysterious ancient weapons which they have hoarded from the people. Terrifying mystical weapons which cut deeper and harder than steel. The Red Fingers must make a morale test or suffer an additional casualty.
Oh boy. Oh shit.
That's a 4 plus 1. Unfortunately, does not beat a 13. They are reduced down to 9. Alright, so we had, that was a 13, 11 plus 6, 17 on the power test. That's going to do it. Which is 3 additional damage, which cuts the Red Fingers down to 6. Alright, they are not yet diminished. The Adjudicator has gone. They have charged their heavy cavalry onto the battlefield. They have crushed the Red Fingers decisively. What else you got, Daniel?
I'm going to use the Gilded Furies for both activations, and I'm going to tear into the Golden Ponies.
Oof. Alright.
So, there's the first one, there's the second.
The Golden Ponies, do they want to do anything in as a reaction?
Evasive maneuvers.
Okay. Tell us what that does, Jacob.
As a reaction, when an opposed artillery unit makes an attack test against this unit, impose disadvantage on the opposed unit's attack test.
Okay. So what we're gonna do, we'll treat your rolls as your disadvantage rolls, and you can make an additional power test if any of those succeed. Which
Actually, hold on. I'm not gonna spend that on this one. No, the Gilded Furies DCs are too high. The likelihood of the disadvantage meaning something is too low. I'm gonna save it.
Okay. All right. So we do not have evasive maneuvers. The Golden Ponies take a full face of arrows. They are reduced to 5 casualties from a successful attack test. 19 plus 3 beats their toughness. They are reduced to 4 from a successful power test, and they take 2 poison tokens. The Golden Ponies are subjected to a second attack test. 13 plus 9 definitely hits. I need a DC 13 morale test, or you will suffer an additional casualty from being diminished. Hit me, Jacob.
Yes.
that
They
is
are
with
adaptable,
advantage.
so they'll have advantage. It's an 18
That does it.
plus 3 for a 21.
These veterans hold firm. A 6 plus 3, 9 does not beat 11 toughness, and the Golden Ponies are saved from additional poisoning. What do the Flower Buds have in store? All right, who we attacking, Daniel?
Or you might be
My
muted.
bad. Okay, the Flower Buds are going to try and splatter the Golden Ponies.
Oof. All right, do we want to do an evasive maneuvers now?
Looking at that roll, I don't think they need to.
Okay, so we have
Uh,
8 plus 3 is 11. That attack test fails. All right,
Shoot.
the flower buds, fling, shoot their arrows, which land in the dark, churned mud of the battlefield, well away from any unfortunate shaggy ponies.
So does movement cost an activation, or is that just there?
Every unit can take. Every unit essentially has 2 actions that they can do during an activation. If they have the ability to make 2 attacks per activation, they may make those 2 attacks and then they're done. If they have
Okay.
the ability to make a single attack, they can use their other action to move a single square or space, or they can hold firm, or if they choose not to attack, they can do what's called a full march, which is to move 2 spaces.
Okay, let me... Okay, so my Gilded Furies had a successful attack test, right?
That is correct.
They're going to fade back into the tower battlements.
Okay. Just so you know, those tower battlements have crumbled. You will receive no fortification bonuses from them, but you are free to occupy this unoccupied space.
That's fine.
All right.
And the flower buds are going to stay where they're at. That's my turn.
Okay. Jacob, you rally the forces, attacking, laying siege. What have you got?
Yes. Firstly, hate to teacher, do we have homework myself? The golden ponies would take poison, right? Because they got hit by the furies.
Once they activate, they will take poison damage equal to their tokens, which is 2.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, first thing that's going to happen is the ponies are going to activate. So they will take 2 poison damage.
And 1
and
token
they're gonna...
is removed.
Yes. And they are going to use both their attacks on the adjudicator.
Ballsy.
So
Show me what you got.
that is Oh, that first one is a 6 plus 5.
11 does not hit.
Damn it. And it would have been a nat 20 on the power test. Oh,
You really needed that.
son of a bitch. All right.
You have one
Second
more
one.
attack.
That's a 15
Plus
plus
5.
5. That's a dirty 20.
Beats a 13. Daniel,
Beats a 13.
something happens. Tell me
It
what.
does happen. You're right. Okay. Let me find it real quick. I was reading another ability. Okay, right here. Damage resistant. Successful attack test against this unit inflicts no casualties. Successful power test inflict casualties normally.
I'm so sorry, but the golden ponies have charged into these heavily armored gilded knights with magical armor and weapons. And despite many blows, they deal no casualty. A 4 plus 4, an 8 on your power test does not beat their toughness, and the attack has failed.
Fuck.
However, something happens, Jacob.
Oh no. There are so many abilities.
Something happens?
Yes, the golden ponies have an ability called Harriers.
That's on a successful power test, though.
Oh, it sure is. Never mind. Nothing happens. Ooh.
Got my hopes up.
Oh man, I did. I'm so sorry. Got my hopes up.
All I'm saying is I saw that natural 20 and I was sweating.
All right, we got 5 Netherfolk levies and red fingers to activate. Give me
Well,
some.
good news.
all is lost because the ponies will die, and then the red fingers will be the only ones that can fight the adjudicator.
There is a chance to
Um,
rally.
Yes, and then they'll get immediately stopped. It's good. Don't worry about it. Netherfolk Levy's gonna. These boys are gonna step up here. And then both of them are going to make their attacks on the Gilded Furies.
All right.
So that will be 2d20 for the first one. That is a 12 plus 2.
14 beats 13.
14.
That's a
Beats
success.
13. And then that would be a 9 plus 2 for the power test.
11
which is an
beats
11.
a 9. That's another casualty. The Gilded Furies, overwhelmed by teeming, just absolutely feral netherfolk, begin to crush on top of them and brutalize them. They have one remaining casualty.
Huzzah! Second attack from the other levies. That is an 8 plus 2. Doesn't hit.
10 does not beat 13. The attack test has failed.
Shit.
These netherfolk levies, upon activation, succumb to the poison.
So wait, they didn't get hit last time though, and they already took their poison damage. Doesn't the token disappear after they take the?
They had 2 poison tokens initially, reduced down to 1 after they took their 2 poison damage. They remove 1 token. They have a single token on them. Upon activating, that single token has caused them a casualty, reducing them to 0. And these netherfolk levies, they have broken. However, they are still rallyable.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Ah, man. Okay. Well,
I will point out that the red fingers are currently exposed.
yeah.
Which will make them vulnerable, or they are a valid target for cavalry.
Yes. Well, I don't have control over the red finger token. So I can't do.
Oh my goodness. Let me fix that for you.
Much obliged.
Where is it? How do I do this? Controlled by all players.
Doesn't the
Bam.
don't the red fingers drop a casualty because of one of the levies died?
No, they start with those casualties upon coming in to battle, and they maintain them.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood the ability.
Where is that?
Yes. Cool. So the red fingers are going to move 1 over to the left. And they're going to take shots on the Gilded Furies.
Here we go.
Like the adjudicators got to go, but the Gilded Furies got to get taken off the field. So they're going to make that attack. That is a 8 plus 3.
11 does not beat a 13. The rocks are hurled. The stones fall among the rubble, clattering and bouncing. Some may strike their target, but none hard enough to deal significant damage.
They aren't once I move these netherfolk up, they won't be exposed anymore, right? Like once I move these guys here, the red fingers will be.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So these boys move up here, and then these boys will take both their movements and get up here. Actually, where were they? They were here before.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck it. They're gonna move up here. Yeah. And that's all I got. That's me.
The netherfolk climb over the collapsed walls of the haven, the school where the gilded lilies were trained, and ransacking it along the way, they charge after the flower buds, who are attempting to make their escape. Please add up the totals of your army tiers of existing units and post it in the chat for me. Okay, so is that 9? Is that you, Jacob? That's a little weird thing.
Yeah, that's me. It's because
Okay.
it's at the end of all my rolls.
All right, so 9 and 12. 9 is not half or less than 12, and so the battle continues. As the fight wages on, the Gilded Furies have one last attempt, potentially last attempt, to struggle out of this combat and survive.
Okay, so the Furies are going to go all in on his cavalry. All in.
All right. That is a 9 plus 9, 18. You do have evasive maneuvers, Jacob.
Gotta do it. Gotta do it.
As you command the golden ponies to scatter across the battlefield, using their flaming spears to divert and distract attention from where their bodies are, a 1 being rolled with a disadvantage will be a 1 plus a 9 is 10. The attack test fails. However, the Gilded Furies do have a second attack available. A 7 and 18,
Yeah.
7 will be with disadvantage. That is plus 9, 16. Beats the 14. And the Golden Ponies have been struck from the battlefield. They are now rallyable, but have been removed from the fight temporarily. All right, Daniel, what you got?
The flower buds are going to lay into the red fingers.
Give me an attack. That is a 10 plus 3. Red Fingers only have a 10. That is 1 casualty, reducing them to just below half health. The Red Fingers must make a DC 13 morale test or suffer an additional casualty.
Yep, that's totals out to a 12.
12 is just not enough, as some of the Nether folk believe that they see the writing on the wall and that this rebellion may not shake out. They've decided to flee back into the rubble to eke out whatever meager existence they may have, because at least they aren't dead. The flower buds power is 15 plus 3, 18, does beat 8. The red fingers will take 1 additional damage, bringing them down to 3, and will suffer 2 poison tokens. On their next activation, they will suffer 2 poison casualties. Let's put a little green dot on them so we don't forget. Devastating for the teeming masses seeking liberation. The adjudicator.
I'm going to use. No, you're 1st.
Mhm.
I interrupted you.
No,
I
go ahead,
apologize.
please, Daniel.
I'm going to use the adjudicators, and I gotta get rid of those red fingers. I'm sorry, I do.
The red fingers are not currently exposed. The valid targets are these Netherfolk levies and these Netherfolk levies. You have 2 targets.
So with the cavalry, the right side has to be exposed before I can hit them, right?
It more or less, yeah. They have to be touching one of the edges, basically.
Ah. Cool. I'm going to hit the Netherfolk under the Gilded Furies.
Okay. Give me a charge. Okay,
Yep.
is that
Yep.
them? Oh, the 12?
Yes.
Okay. So 12 plus 4, 16. That'll hit. Bam! What happens next, Daniel?
The old gold weapons take effect.
All right, give me a DC 13 morale test for those nether folk, Jacob. 13
Minus
minus
one.
1. Oh, I'm so sorry. As the golden weapons hack through these desperate folk, more of them decide that the fear is too great and they flee the battle. Suffer an additional casualty. Power test is 3 plus 6. 9 does not
That's
beat
9,
12.
but it does not. Yep.
Thankfully, the adjudicator just couldn't find enough of that nice, even, flat ground that they need to get in a good charge. Their weapons are terrifying, but the damage has been surprisingly minimal. All right, that concludes Daniel's side. Jacob, you may begin activating. Oh, and before you do, you may attempt to rally the Golden Ponies and the Netherfolk levies.
Yes. So the golden ponies will have advantage because they're
Correct.
adaptable.
Yes.
Okay. So this is for the ponies. It's 15. So the ponies come back with 1, right?
The ponies will come back to the fight with a single casualty as they rally under your command.
Beautiful.
I'm going to keep them with the yellow dot just so we know that they've already been rallied.
Yeah.
All right.
And then drop these babies in. That's an 11. The levies don't.
The levies succumb to fear, exhaustion, and their wounds. Breaking from the battlefield, they are fully removed.
Raven. Anywho. All right. First things first. These lads. Stab these archers, please. Yeah. That's a 14 plus 2.
14 plus 2 beats a 13.
Yikes.
Huzzah!
The Gilded Furies have been overwhelmed.
This is neck and neck.
Yeah, I'm sweating over here. You got me on edge.
Yeah, I'm in between moments of extreme malaise and moments of extreme passion. All right.
Sorry, one thing that I missed that we should resolve before we do anything more. The Netherfolk levies who were attacked by the Adjudicator do have the ability to set for charge as infantry.
They do?
Yes. So they all infantry, including levies, does have the ability to set for charge. Having taken a casualty from a successful attack test, they can make a... Ooh, what is it?
Oh, then absolutely. DC 13 command test. Yeah,
Yes.
I didn't think that they could. I was because it was only listed on the postman stat block. That's how I was like, oh, the postmen are gone. I'm fucked.
That is my mistake. So if you want to just see if maybe you scratch them a little bit, give me
Let's-
DC 13 command test.
Let's give that a little baby kiss on the. Let's give those horses a little kiss.
I'm sorry, Daniel, but they need some
That's
help.
I got it. You're good. It's a 9, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't hit.
It turns out that wooden sticks are not good enough to pierce old gold armor. Aren't you thankful, Daniel?
Oh, yeah.
If
Okay.
this goes badly, Sam's gonna throw himself off a ship. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Give me the rest of it, Jacob.
I like Sam.
So we've activated these guys, and
Yes.
have the golden ponies have not activated yet. They've
The
only
ponies
rallied.
have not yet activated.
Okay.
But they are going to once again charge the adjudicators.
Give me that attack roll.
The odds of it working are not great, but
You got
gotta
two
do
of them.
something.
Leave me
Yeah.
alone. It's the only fancy thing I have.
You can't have it anymore. That's a 15, but the
15 plus
power roll
5.
doesn't do it.
15 plus 5, 20 does beat a 13. Unfortunately, to pierce the hardened carapace of these gilded knights, you're going to need a successful power test. And a 7
Second
plus 4,
attack.
just a
2
little
natural
less.
ones. Here we go.
Oh,
Close enough. Yep, knew that was gonna happen.
Hey, same thing could happen to me.
Nope, all my people have terrible defense.
clink, 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 as the golden ponies attempt to bust through the adjudicator's defenses to show them any amount of hardship, and yet they remain unscathed. A truly
Yes.
terrifying unit.
Oh wait, I forgot to move the other levies. They move into the tower.
Surely.
Cool.
All right. You got these 4 units left to activate, I believe.
Yes. These lads move up, and I hate to do it. Hate
it.
to do it,
Do
but
it.
it is war,
Do it.
and this is the only way.
Gonna make their attacks on the flower buds.
Both of them will.
Hit me.
It's okay. The elder isn't
hit
part
them.
of this. That's a 15 plus 2 and a 9 plus 2.
15 plus 2, 17 beats a 10. They take 1 casualty. A 9 plus 2, 11 beats an 8. They take a second casualty from a devastating
Ouch.
charge. And we have these guys attacking
It's
the
them or
Firebuds,
us.
Make the attacks. That's a 19 and an 11. That's 2 more that go through.
I feel bad. I feel
All right.
really bad.
The flower buds suffer an additional casualty. They have become diminished. Daniel, give me a DC 13 morale test. You have +1.
No, not the kids.
Oh god, I was like, oh, I'm the good guys, and now we're beating kids with sticks.
Let this be a lesson to everyone. There's no such thing as good guys in war. There is no such thing as good war. Daniel rolls a 19 +1. A dirty 20 will hold out. They will not suffer an additional casualty. The power test, 11 plus 2, 13, does beat an 8. So they will take 1 more casualty, being reduced to 2 from the successful attack from the second Netherfolk levies. All right, Jacob, you got 2 more units to activate. Are you doing Red Fingers or Netherfolk levies?
Netherfolk levies don't really got much they can do. They need to stay there to keep the Red Fingers safe.
Okay. The Red Fingers succumb to the poison coursing through some of their veins. They take 2 casualties, reducing them down to 1. They have They remove 1 of their poison tokens. They have a single poison token left, which means the next time they activate, they will break.
Yes. Actually, I do have something that I want to do with them, and I want to do it with all of them. I'm gonna move them all. No, I'm not. There's no reason for me to do that. So no, I'm not. I gain nothing from it.
It could look
It
cool.
it would look cool to see them all like move in unison, doing like the Thriller dance, but it's not gonna happen. Things are too sad. Red Fingers, they gotta womp on those adjudicators. It's the only way.
Just don't make it my way, okay?
Victory or death. God fucking damn it.
An 18 plus 3, extremely impressive 21. As rocks hurtle towards the Gilded Knights of the Adjudicator, harmlessly clinking off. A 1 plus 3, 4, 4 does not beat a 13 toughness, and so the Adjudicator continues to remain unharmed.
Okay, then I do want to do something with the Netherfolk levies.
Okay.
because the red fingers are dead anyways.
They will
They're
have
gonna-
a chance to rally after they've been broken.
Yes, but they will be dead at the start of my next. It would be better if they get taken out by the adjudicators, because then they can rally and I can use them. If they die from poison, they'll die on my next turn and I can't use them. So I'm bringing the Netherfolk levies up here.
Oh man, the flower buds are in the pressure cooker now.
You know, I have a question. How'd you know my plan? Because I'm not taking out those red fingers because of that reason right there. How did you know that?
I thought about it and I was like, well, this isn't gonna go my way.
All right. The Netherfolk have launched a devastating counterattack. They've infiltrated the city. They are chasing the last of the city defenders through the streets of Agrost. Streets that they are more familiar with than the cloistered flower buds were ever allowed to be. We reached the top of 5th. Another round of warfare. Who's keeping track? Not me.
3, 4,
Please add up your tiers and tell me what you got. So we have 9 for Jacob and 8 for Daniel. Still pretty head to head.
It's neck and neck. Oh my god, this is so
Anything
tense.
could happen, folks. This is wild. I love this. Let's hit it. Daniel,
All right.
what have you got?
Can I rally the Gilded Furies or no?
You sure may. Give me a DC 13 morale test. You have a +4. These Furies come back. Ooh, 17 plus 4, 21. The Gilded Furies have returned to the battlefield. They will return. I will say that they return from whence they came. And they are back to take revenge on the Netherfolk levies, smiling as they charge with hooked blade and venomous crossbow. You may activate the Gilded Furies.
So, the levies below the Gilded...
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm planning this out here.
Yeah, take your time. This is high stakes, folks. Man, that adjudicator has just weathered a storm. And that is the power of old gold in the Beast Wilds. Old gold is a magical alloy whose recipe seemingly has been lost to time and memory. There are some in the Beast Wilds who may still know the secrets of old gold, but...
Okay, sorry.
We shall see what happens. Daniel, tell me what you got.
The first attack is going to hit the golden ponies.
All right. Jacob, I need you to roll a d6.
D6. That's a
You
5.
have recharged your evasive maneuvers.
Wait, hold on. I mean, there's no real point, right? If we do disadvantage, I'll just give him the 9.
It will give him a 9, which is still an 18.
Which is still good. Yeah, there's no point. The ponies are gone.
Okay.
For spite, they're gonna evasive maneuver.
Get out of the way! And as some of the shaggy ponies begin to turn and mix it into one another, some of them bump into one another and become sitting ducks. Others turn into the path of venomous arrow fire, and they are laid low. These veterans who had served a cumulative century or more on the post roads, protecting the people and protecting the roads, have fallen in defense of the people. They have fulfilled their sworn oaths, and we thank them for it. The golden ponies are broken, and they may not return to combat.
Okay, the second activation is going to hit the Nether folk below the the Gilded Furies.
Is going to hit. I love the confidence. 14 plus 9, and it does. It does hit. Jacob, give me a DC 13 morale test. 10 minus 1. It seems like the Netherfolk are losing ground. And they take an additional casualty. 14 plus 3 is 17, beats a 12. They are reduced to 1, and they take 2 tokens of poison on top of that. All right, it's not looking great. You have the flower buds and the adjudicator, Daniel. What do you do?
I can't play no more, I'm sorry. Okay, the Netherfolk levies beside the flower buds. I'm gonna try and hit them.
To the left or right?
To the left.
Okay. Netherfolk levies. 2 plus 2. Oh, 2. 2 plus
Yep.
3. 5 does not beat a 10. The flower buds.
Yep.
Twing. Some of them have lost their bowstrings and attempt to just chuck arrows, which fall immediately in front of them. A pitiful display from these terrified teenagers. The Netherfolk levies are unscathed. The adjudicator is left. Daniel, what you got?
I'm going to take the adjudicator and I'm going to try to hit the Netherfolk levies to the right of the Furies.
To the right of the Furies. So yes, these are exposed. Give me a charge. Ooh, 3 plus 4. Unfortunately, the adjudicator needs a real steady path to mount a charge. Heavy cavalry are clunky. They do not turn on a dime. They barely turn on a tugboat. And because of that, tripping over the rubble from the broken walls of Agrost has saved the Netherfolk levies from a pain train. Okay,
That's my go.
Jacob. Do something.
Yeah. Well, looking at this, I have come to the realization it's impossible for me to win at this point because the red fingers and the levies on the left both are broken because they're both poison, which leaves me with 3 total points. And even if I took out the Gilded Furies and the Flower Buds, the Adjudicators would still be double me. So, I am bested. But I'm gonna kill these fucking Furies. One way or another. The kids can live.
I'm rooting for you.
But I'm gonna kill these fucking Furies.
Do it.
Man.
I'm rooting for you.
Making the attack on the Gilded Furies. Please, Dice Gods, give me this small moral victory.
19 plus 2 does beat a 13. The Gilded Furies are once again overwhelmed. In a last effort to deal as much damage as they can, the Netherfolk realize they're beaten. But a beaten person can really only take so much. When you've hit rock bottom, what do you have to lose? When you have nothing, it's all about revenge.
The remaining Netherfolk raise their sharpened sticks towards the flower buds, and they look out at the fields and see the fallen post and their fallen comrades. And they look at the children before them, and they drop their spears, and they raise their hands, and surrender.
Now, Daniel, you have one choice that you can make, which could determine the difference in this fight. as you command the adjudicator and the flower buds still, you have the ability as a player, not as a commander, take yourself out of that, as a person, floating above a battlefield of brutality and darkness. You can choose to take any side you want. If you force the adjudicators to flee, you have the flower buds leave the city, the nether folk can still be the victors. And that decision falls upon you. Do you, with the fate of Agrost in your hands, consign Agrost once again back into the Norvean Pentarchy to be reinforced and rebuilt in the image of Saint Philora? Or do you choose your soldiers to be fickle and feckless, to retreat back to the safety of their capital, abandoning this swampy, collapsed, bitter place, full of people who are desperate for revolution? I put that decision now in your hands.
So you're saying it's my decision, correct? Okay.
As the victor of this battle, you have one last opportunity to retreat and allow the remaining nether folk to therefore be the victors. Or you may claim victory and reestablish Agrost as a Norvean pentarchic city under the administration of the cult of Saint Philora.
They're going to retreat. And the reason why is because, the reason why I say this is because of, you can look at it in two situations. What is left in the city that's worth something after its walls been taken down and everything like that? And what use would the nether folk be to them? Or they could be attacked by a random third person, maybe, I don't know, whoever, because of the nether folk may have quote unquote helped a certain someone further their goals. I mean, so they're going to retreat.
Wow.
Is there a mysterious third advance party that may or may not appear here?
Today,
Will we make you break your lore?
we end the Siege of Agrost as the Gilded Serpent of the Adjudicator, followed very closely behind by the fleet-footed flower buds, the last of King Kaiser's gilded lilies. They retreat into the distance, a line of glowing lances forming an extended, glowing dragon in the distance, which steadily falls over the hills and into darkness. They go to regroup with what remains at the capital of Phuloropolis. They may yet return with even more forces to simply overwhelm the beleaguered nether folk, or what's left of them. That is a story for another time. But for now, the nether folk celebrate. They emerge from the rubble, these caustic warrens that they had called home, a subterranean life living among the Swiss cheese walls of the shadow stacks. They no longer have to live in shadow, except we all do in the Beast Wilds. Until the sun and the moon and the stars can break through that thick, dark veil in the skies, we may never know peace. But one thing is guaranteed: that this skirmish, this siege, this single instance of rebellion is a spark. It will ignite a larger flame. And across the Beast Wilds, armies are marching. They're forming up. And they're choosing sides. And you, the audience, yeah, you know who I'm talking to. You may have a chance to lead them. But I want to say a very, very deep thank you to both Daniel and Jacob for playing this warfare scenario. I'm so happy with this. It has been an extreme pleasure to watch you two duke it out. A very hearty hand to Daniel for being the victor and for making a choice that some of you at home might not have expected. Certainly a choice that he didn't have to make. But I think we all, well, I won't speak for you, but for myself, I'm happy he did. The Nether folk have been through enough. And maybe, just maybe, with a little bit of help, they can rebuild Agrost to be the home that they have so desperately been searching for. Thank you so much to everyone in chat who has been watching us, interacting in the chat, and just I'm super humbled. I'm getting used to streaming and such, and I hope to put more of these types of warfare scenarios together, as well as I'm hoping in this coming winter to have a campaign set in the Beast Wilds, which will feature the Postman, and maybe if you'd like to watch that, you can learn a little bit more about the sacrifices that the Golden Ponies and the Agrost Post have made and what that means in the greater scheme of the Beast Wilds. Once again, I have been Beast. I have been your Game Master. Extremely humble and appreciative to be here and to share my fantasy world with you. Come to the Bonus Mon Tavern Discord. We have tons of folks like Jacob and Daniel, and a few like myself, who you can chat with and join play games with. We do Dungeons and Dragons. Folks organize all kinds of games. We play online together, Destiny and other things. And to sign off, Daniel, Jacob, if you would, in that order, please just remind everyone who you were, where you can be found on the internet, and what you liked most about playing tonight. So, Daniel, please.
So, I'm Daniel. You can usually find me in the Bonus Mom's Tavern and the Discord. It's such a joy to be there with all these amazing people. I really couldn't ask for better people. What I liked about it is I was on my seat the entire time. I honestly never felt like I had the upper hand. Like I had to plan that was just like, because like there's so many aspects and stuff like that. Like, I'll give you an example. When Jacob moved the red fingers away from the edge of the map, like I had to like hit the brakes and recalculate what I was gonna do. But it's fun. All the abilities were great. I loved it. It's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for playing, Daniel. Jacob.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jacob, the physical loser but moral victor of tonight. Um,
We're all winners
first off,
tonight.
first off, major shout out and kudos to the other moral winner of tonight, who is also the actual winner of tonight, Daniel. That was an incredible show of tactics and skill.
Brutality.
I was biting my nails the entire time. I was absolutely amazed. You can find me in the Discord. Have we met? I am currently in the process of maybe putting together some Pathfinder Second Edition one shots to help familiarize myself with the system. That I plan on opening up to the public to play. There's still a lot of work in that. I'm also very busy in my regular life, but when those become available, I will be sure to put those out to folks in the Bonus Moms Tavern Discord. I personally, I think for me, my favorite part of tonight was seeing the continuation of a story that me and Daniel were both a part of in the campaign, in which we were the 5 adventurous, unlikely heroes who started a revolution in this city. So to see that come to fruition in an unexpected sort of Battle of the Bastards, Game of Thrones-esque manner was really fun, and I had a lot of fun tonight. And I want to say thank you to Daniel for being such a fucking awesome opponent, and thank you to Beast for being such an awesome game master and for running this. And thank you to you all for watching.
Yes, one last round of thank yous in all directions. Signing off for now. And good night, everyone.